Have you ever felt like a fraud? Like you don't deserve the success or opportunities or recognition that has come your way? Maybe you're afraid that others will find out that you're not as capable as you think you are. That feeling is imposter syndrome. And here's something powerful to know. Even the greatest heroes feel it. The difference? Heroes face imposter syndrome head on, and so can you. In today's video, I'll help you understand imposter syndrome, why it shows up, and 5 practical strategies to overcome it so you can step into your own power. Okay, so let's start with what imposter syndrome actually is. Imposter syndrome is that nagging voice in your head that tells you that you're actually not good enough. You just got lucky, and that everyone else knows what they're doing and you don't. It's the belief that you're a fraud, despite evidence of your skills, achievement, and value. Now, you might think that only beginners or people who lack confidence experience imposter syndrome. That's not true. Imposter syndrome affects everyone at some point, even highly successful people. Celebrities, athletes, leaders, they've all admitted to feeling like an imposter at some point. So here's the key. Feeling like an imposter doesn't mean you are one. It means that you're stepping into something new, challenging, and meaningful, which is exactly what heroes do. So why does imposter syndrome show up in the first place? Well, firstly, it's rooted in fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, and fear of not measuring up to others' expectations. The brain is trying to protect you from these risks. And growth triggers it. So when you're growing and learning and taking on new challenges, it's natural to feel out of your depth. And imposter syndrome is usually a sign that you're leveling up. So, for example, think of a new job or a big project or stepping into leadership. The more you care, the louder the doubts can feel. And here's the truth. Heroes don't wait until they're ready or perfect. They step into discomfort and they grow through it. And that's where real confidence is built. So the first step towards overcoming imposter syndrome is to recognize it for what it is. And it's a thought, it's not a fact. And one helpful thing to do is to name that inner critic. So give it a label and separate it from yourself. So when it talks to you, it doesn't have any authority. Okay, so you could call it the doubter, nervous Ned, or even just the fear voice. So when you name it, it helps to separate yourself from the actual thought. And so instead of thinking, I'm not good enough, you can say, oh, nervous Ned tells me I'm not good enough. So this simple shift helps you to take back control and respond to your inner critic with compassion instead of letting it paralyze you. So the second strategy is to collect your evidence. Imposter syndrome thrives when you ignore your successes. So to fight back, collect evidence of your achievement and value. So you could start a confidence journal. Write down all your accomplishments, big or small, and write down compliments that you've received from others, and write down good feedback that you've received from others, and write down times that you've stepped out of your comfort zone and made progress. So, for example, you might write something like, I completed that big presentation last week and my team thought I did great. Or, I helped a friend through a tough time and they really thanked me for listening. So, when imposter syndrome shows up, you can open this journal and you can have a look and remind yourself of the evidence proves that you're capable and worthy and growing. The third strategy is to focus on progress, not perfection. One of the biggest triggers for imposter syndrome is perfectionism. That's the belief that you need to be flawless and to have everything figured out. But the truth is that progress matters much more than perfection. So ask yourself, what's one small step that I can do today? And once you've decided on your small step, write it in the comment section so I can cheer you on your journey. And instead of focusing on everything you haven't done, celebrate on the steps that you're taking. So for example, if you're starting a new project, don't worry about making it perfect. Focus on getting started. Heroes aren't perfect. They just keep moving forward despite their fears. And strategy 4 is to talk about it. Imposter syndrome loves to make you feel alone. But here's the thing. It's incredibly common. The moment you talk about it, you'll realize you're not the only one who's feeling this way. So share your feelings with somebody you trust. Talk to a mentor or a friend or a colleague and ask them if they've ever felt that way. You might be surprised by their answer. And the reason why this helps is just that talking about it helps to normalize the experience. It reminds you that struggling with self doubt doesn't mean you're not capable, it means that you're human. So here's what I want you to remember: imposter syndrome isn't a sign that you're failing, it's a sign that you're growing. Every hero feels fear and self doubt. They keep going, and so can you. So here's your challenge for this week: write down one success, one compliment, and one small step that you can take towards your goals. And let me know in the comments, when does imposter syndrome show up for you? And what's one way that you're going to face it? And remember, you're stronger than your doubts, you're braver than you think, and you're more capable than you realize. So keep showing up, and I'll see you in the next video.